Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the greatest plays ever written, William Shakespeare's Hamlet. It's a story of revenge, madness, and tragedy that has captivated audiences for over 400 years. So, grab your popcorn, because this is going to be a wild ride. Our story kicks off in the cold, dark kingdom of Denmark. Prince Hamlet is in a deep depression. His father, the king, has just died, and to make matters worse, his mother, Queen Gertrude, has married his uncle Claudius, like a month later. Talk about a family drama. What is suspicious, and honestly, who wouldn't be? One night, the ghost of Hamlet's father appears to him. This isn't just any ghost. It's a ghost with a mission. He reveals a shocking secret. He was murdered, and the killer, none other than Hamlet's own uncle, the new King Claudius, who poured poison in his ear while he was sleeping. The ghost demands that Hamlet avenge his foul and most unnatural murder. This is the moment that changes everything. Hamlet is now burdened with this terrible knowledge and a heavy task. But he's a thinker, not a rash warrior. He needs proof. So he decides to pretend he's gone mad to throw everyone off his trail while he investigates. This antic disposition, as he calls it, confuses everyone at court, including his uncle Claudius, his mother Gertrude, and the woman he loves, Ophelia. His erratic behavior really worries Ophelia. Her father, a pompous court official named Polonius, thinks Hamlet is just lovesick. Claudius, however, is more suspicious. He senses a threat and starts spying on Hamlet, using Polonius and even Hamlet's old friends. This is where Hamlet's famous to be, or not to be, soliloquy comes in. He contemplates life, death, and whether it's worth it to keep going when everything is so corrupt and painful. It's a powerful moment that shows just how much he's struggling with his conscience and his mission. To get the proof he needs, Hamlet comes up with a brilliant plan. He hires a troupe of traveling actors and has them perform a play that reenacts the murder of his father right in front of Claudius. He calls it the mousetrap. During the poison scene, Claudius freaks out. He stands up, cries for light, and storms out of the room. For Hamlet, this is all the confirmation he needs. The king is guilty. Now that he knows the truth, you'd think Hamlet would act immediately, right? Well, it's complicated. He finds Claudius alone, seemingly praying. Hamlet has the perfect chance to kill him, but he hesitates. Worries that if he kills Claudius while he's praying, Claudius's soul will go to heaven, which isn't the revenge his father wanted. So he decides to wait for a better, more sinful moment. Tragedy strikes soon after. Hamlet confronts his mother, Gertrude, in her chamber, accusing her of being complicit in his father's death. He hears a noise behind a curtain, and thinking it's Claudius spying on him again, he stabs through it. But it's not the king, it's Polonius, Ophelia's father. This accidental killing sets off a devastating chain reaction. Ophelia, already heartbroken by Hamlet's rejection and now devastated by her father's death at his hands, truly loses her mind. She begins singing strange songs and handing out flowers, and soon after, she tragically drowns in a river. Her brother Laertes returns from France, furious, and vowing to avenge both his father and his sister. Claudius sees an opportunity in Laertes' rage. He manipulates Laertes into a deadly plot. He'll arrange a friendly fencing match between Hamlet and Laertes. But Laertes' sword will be secretly tipped with a fast-acting poison. And just in case that fails, Claudius prepares a poisoned cup of wine to offer Hamlet during the match. The final scene is one of the most famous and bloody climaxes in all of literature. The duel begins. Hamlet, surprisingly, scores the first two hits. Gertrude, proud of her son, raises the poisoned cup to toast him and drinks from it before Claudius can stop her. In the next round, Laertes wounds Hamlet with the poisoned sword. In the ensuing scuffle, they accidentally exchange swords, and Hamlet wounds Laertes with the same poisoned blade. As the queen collapses and dies, Laertes, realizing he is also doomed, confesses the entire plot. He reveals that Claudius is the one to blame and that the sword in Hamlet's hand is poisoned. Enraged, Hamlet finally fulfills his vow, forces the last of the poisoned wine down Claudius' throat, and stabs him with the poisoned sword. In the final moments, Hamlet and Laertes forgive each other. As Hamlet lies dying, his loyal friend Horatio wants to drink the poison too, but Hamlet stops him. He begs Horatio to live and tell his tragic story. With his last breath, he names Fortinbras, a Norwegian prince, as the new king of Denmark. The stage is littered with bodies, a grim testament to the destructive power of revenge. And that's the tragic tale of Hamlet, a story that reminds us how one act of evil can spiral out of control, destroying everyone in its path. It's a masterpiece for a reason. What do you think? Was Hamlet's hesitation his tragic flaw, or was he just a victim of circumstance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into classic literature. See you next time.